Top 10 must-read books for every book lover. Books can be life-changing. They transport us far away to another time and place and even other worlds and dimensions without us ever having to leave the comfort of our armchairs. Thankfully, as book lovers, we have a plethora of incredible fiction at our fingertips. But with so many options, it's often tricky to decide which book to read next. That's why I've put together this list of 14 must-read books for every bibliophile. From classics to contemporary novels, these incredible titles are some of the most well-loved books in the history of literature and essential reading for every book lover. Before we start the video, make sure to like and subscribe to our channel, then you will not miss our new video. 1. The Little Prince by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. When an airplane pilot crashes into the Sahara Desert, he finds himself without food or water, and things start to look a little hairy. As he worries over his fate, a mysterious boy approaches him, a little prince, and the pair becomes unlikely friends. The little boy is a strange child with a serious demeanor and some very bizarre questions. The pilot soon discovers that the boy is from a small planet named Asteroid 325, and he has left behind a precious friend, a single rose. The young prince is deeply worried for his rose up there all alone, but even so, he must head out on his mission to explore new planets and find a cure for his own lonely heart. Despite being a children's classic, The Little Prince is adored by readers of all ages thanks to its beautiful reflections and observations about the nature of humanity and life itself. 2. Of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck. George and his simple-minded pal Lenny are a pair of drifters in search of a place to call their own. They dream of finding a couple of acres, furnishing it with a few chickens, pigs, and rabbits, and working on the land in peace for the rest of their days. But when the pair finds some work on a California farm, their plans are tinged by a cruel series of misunderstandings, and their dreams begin to shatter in front of them. 3. The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. Hazel's days on this earth have been numbered for some time now, and despite the miraculous medical intervention that bought her a little extra time, she knows the tumor will take her in the end, and she's unlikely to make it to adulthood. But when she meets the wonderful Augustus Waters at her Cancer Kid support group, everything begins to change. Suddenly, it seems like her future may hold a tiny glimmer of hope after all. 4. Lord of the Flies by William Golding. A new world war is about to commence, and a group of British schoolboys are being flown over the Pacific Ocean on their way to safety. But something goes wrong, and a plane crash lands on a deserted island, leaving them stranded without any supervision. At first, the boys are ecstatic, celebrating their newfound freedom far from the watchful gaze of adults. They can do whatever they please now, and there's no one there to tell them off or punish them. But as they attempt in their childlike ways to forge their own society, they come up against the very worst facets of human nature that exist deep within us all. 5. The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn by Mark Twain. It's the middle of the 19th century, and a young boy named Huckleberry Finn has finally managed to escape from his abusive, alcoholic father's grasp. On a mission for freedom, he leaves his hometown on the Mississippi and sets out an incredible journey alongside a runaway slave named Jim. Traversing the long and winding river, the pair encounter a whole host of fascinating and intriguing characters and form an unlikely bond that will see them through the toughest of times together. 6. Catch-22 by Joseph Heller. It's World War II, and an unlikely and reluctant war hero named Yossarian is searching for a way to get out of Italy and leave the war far behind him. Yet, his army insists on increasing the missions each soldier needs to fly before they can complete their service and return home, and so he is stuck in the perpetual hell of war. If he requests an early leave, he risks violating Catch-22, a ridiculous bureaucratic rule that says if a man willingly continues to fly in perilous combat missions, he is insane. But on the other hand, if he formally requests to leave, he's proven sane and must therefore continue his service, no matter how dangerous it may be. 7. The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. Santiago is a young shepherd boy from the beautiful yet impoverished Spanish region of Andalusia. He sets out on an epic adventure that takes him all the way to the Egyptian desert, where he hopes to find hidden treasure buried somewhere near the Great Pyramids. Along the way, Santiago meets all kinds of fascinating characters. There's an Englishman who teaches him about alchemy, a man who refers to himself as a king, and a gypsy woman, all of who help him on his extravagant quest. Though no one can tell young Santiago where his treasure might be buried, as his journey continues, he begins to realize that the real treasure he is in search of is buried deep within himself. 8. The Time Traveler's Wife by Audrey Niffenegger. Claire is a talented and beautiful art student, and Henry is a librarian with a penchant for adventure. But there's something strange about their relationship. The pair were married when Claire was 23 and Henry was 31, yet they've known each other since Claire was 6 and Henry was 36. It seems like an impossibility, but it's the truth. See, Henry has a rare condition called chronodisplacement disorder, which can strike at any time, his genetic clock will suddenly reset itself, and he'll be transported to a completely different point in his life. His affliction can strike at any time, and the results are often traumatic, distressing, and even occasionally amusing. 9. The Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka. On a morning unlike any other, Gregor Samsa woke up in his bed from an unsettling dream and found himself in a living nightmare. His body had been mysteriously transformed into a humongous, repulsive insect. His back is now hard as a rock plated with armor. His belly is round like a dome, separated into solid arching segments, and his legs are now numerous, spindly, and erratic, wriggling uncontrollably before him. His family is horrified, and he's cast aside and rejected by all of those he loves. Alienated and alone, Gregor Samsa explores some of humankind's deepest fears of loneliness, isolation, and inadequacy as he struggles with his new hideous form. 10. A Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. Once upon a time, Offred was free. She had a husband, Luke, who she made love to. She had a beautiful daughter, who she would do anything to protect. She had a job she was proud of, made her own money, and read books to expand her knowledge. But that was years ago, and now it's all a distant memory. These days, Offred is a handmaid, locked inside the home of the commander of the Republic of Gilead. Her only time in the outside world is when she walks to the market once a day. On her route, she no longer reads the signs as she passes. They've been replaced with pictures for illegal for women to read. Every month, when she is raped by the commander, she prays she'll become pregnant with his child. If she doesn't, she'll face an unthinkable fate. Handmaids are only valued for their wums, and they must be able to reproduce. Otherwise, they're banished to the colonies to face certain death. If you find this video useful, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel.